Hey everybody, this is Rayma Markland with Accountability Now, and welcome to the Morning Jolt, where we give you small tidbits of data, information, and inspiration to make better decisions today. It's a tactical podcast about making today better today. I hope everybody had an amazing and incredible Mother's Day yesterday. I know we did, celebrating my incredible wife and my mother. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. I heard a quote. I've heard this and used it a lot during the pandemic. The quote goes like this: never let a good crisis go to waste. Never let a good crisis go to waste. And let me tell you a story about exactly that. It's the story of my mother and her consulting practice, J&R Medical Consulting. In 1988, the federal government passed CLIA. That's the Clinical Laboratory Improvement Amendments Act of 1988. And it became at the time the nation's most sweeping regulation of physician-based laboratories. Under CLIA, doctors and hospitals, they were going to have to submit to new regulatory requirements for the simplest of common tests. This would include everything from pregnancy and strep infections, when before they didn't even have to do that. I don't know if it was the Wild West. I'm not a medical expert before then, but things were going to be drastically different. And according to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, they were assuming that this was going to cost hospitals and private clinics between $1.1 and $2 billion in 1988 money to just get ready for the impact and regulations that CLIA was going to have. For these hospitals and clinics and doctors, there was real fear of what CLIA was going to do. They knew this was going to change their business, and they were terrified. They started to present different types of propaganda and fear that this was going to impact their ability to test the elderly, to test those in underserved areas, and that CLIA was going to hurt them. Regardless, CLIA moved forward. And in response to CLIA, many doctors' offices and clinics simply couldn't keep up with the regulations, and thousands had to close down. They contracted back. I mean, how similar does that sound to now? So many people couldn't handle or manage against the pandemic. Now insert my incredible mother, Rayma Markland, and her eventual business, J&R Medical Consultants. My mother had been working as a laboratory manager and a clinical manager for nearly 15 years, and I believe she understood the concept of never let a crisis go to waste. She started to become obsessed with being the expert on CLIA. She wanted to understand and know every regulation, every procedure, every process, you name it. She started to provide some lectures on CLIA, sometimes with some really important and big names in the audience. Hillary Clinton, to name one. And in the early 90s, she was the first lady, right? And she was very invested in healthcare at the time. Then, when people wanted to ask about her and her knowledge of CLIA, and they inspected some of her labs were 100% compliant on CLIA, which was extremely hard to do. They couldn't believe it. So not only was she the expert in the space, she was walking the walk and talking the talk. It was incredible. Soon, people started to refer into her and say, you have to use Rayma Markland and now her consultant business, J&R Medical Consultants, to get your practice up to snuff. She started to get it connected with the state. And so when states got involved with clinics and they said, hey, you're in trouble, there's only one person that can get you out of this, and that's J&R Medical Consultants. It became so successful for her, she had to limit the number of clients that she could take to ensure her quality remained high. She never had a website, not once. Every client came from word of mouth because she spent the time at the beginning to become an expert. She spent the time to ensure she always did quality work, and she always delivered. Always. She never let a crisis go to waste. Now here we are in a pandemic. Everyone's faced with the same type of a crisis. Are you letting it go to waste? You have opportunities in front of you, and some of you have been home for almost 60 days now. How are you different? Or have you just gained weight? So let's get a little tactical on this. Let's talk about what are some things that we could do right now, starting today, to not let this crisis go to waste. And I get it. Sometimes it's overwhelming. It's hard to realize how can I start. So I'm going to throw out some things that are tactical that you could do today. Number one, and let me pause here. Just choose one of these items. Choose one of them to do over the next 7 days. Remember, when you're trying to build a habit, when you're trying to change, don't think I'm going to do something for the next 20 years. Think in small tidbits, small tactical 7 days, and win the next 7 days. That's all that matters. So first thing, choose one of these items and win this week. Here's the first one. Write down your goals every day for 7 days. These can be big motivational goals, short-term goals. I don't care. It's just not a to-do list or a task list. That I don't want to do. Just write down your goals every day for 7 days. That's one. Second one. Send one gratitude email or gratitude text to somebody every day for 7 days. That's it. Just show somebody else that they matter to you for 7 days. Third one. You could just watch one TED Talk every day for 7 days. That's it. One TED Talk for 7 days. Imagine the content that's going to come into your brain. Imagine what you're going to learn over the next 7 days. Ugh, that'd be explosive. That'd be incredible. Next one. Leave a positive or kind note for somebody else that you know at work or at home secretly for the next 7 days. Every single day, just leave one little note. Hey, you're awesome. Hey, thanks for the good work. Whatever. One little note. That will make your whole day better, and it'll make their day better. 7 days. Last one. Show your body you're in control. Don't eat any sugar for 7 days. And this is not a weight loss thing. It's a mindset thing. Prove to yourself you are winning and taking advantage of this time to win. It's all about the mindset. And I get it. Some of these things are a little Dr. Phil-ish, right? And they're a little maybe hokey. But you think about Tim Ferriss, Gary Vee, all these big entrepreneurs and entrepreneur leaders out there. They all say the same thing. It starts with the mindset. It starts being able to control yourself and have discipline over 7 days. That's it. And it's your ability to shrink the window from inspiration to action that makes you incredible. So when you feel inspired, oh, wow, that was really cool. I want to do that. And then it turns into the I'm going to do that. Then you've lost. When you feel inspired to do something, do it right now. Shrink it from 1 month to 1 week to 1 hour to 1 second. And that's what makes you incredible, is when you can shrink that time down to I feel inspired to do something and I do it right now. That's the key. Pick one of those items and do it over the next 7 days and win. That is how you can take advantage of this crisis and not let it go to waste. If you want more content, please, first, everybody like and review this podcast. You can subscribe on Apple or Spotify. You can follow me on Forbes. You can follow me on Twitter at Don Markland or Instagram. It's executivecoach.don. Or my website, accountabilitynow.net. And as always, check out my company, the #1 digital marketing agency in the world, 411 Locals. And folks, that is the Morning Jolt.